No, neither do I wish to incur guilt. Hitherto have I fancied myself merely waging war against circumstances, not men. I have thought it no sin to bore through a wall, or to destroy a staircase, but I cannot so easily persuade myself to pierce a heart or take away a life. A slight movement of surprise escaped Dante. Is it possible, said he, that where your liberty is at stake, you can allow any such scruple to deter you from obtaining it? Tell me, said Faria, what has hindered you from knocking down your jailer with a piece of wood torn from your bedstead, dressing yourself in his clothes, and endeavoring to escape? Simply the fact that the idea never occurred to me, answered Dante. Because, said the old man, the natural repugnance to the commission of such a crime prevented you from thinking of it. And so, it is ever because in simple and allowable things in our natural instincts keep us from deviating from the strict line of duty. The tiger, whose nature teaches him to delight in shedding blood, needs but the sense of smell to show him when his prey is within his reach. And by following his instinct, he is enabled to measure the leap necessary to permit him to spring on his victim. But man, on the contrary, loathes the idea of blood. It is not alone that the laws of social life inspire him with a shrinking dread of taking life. His natural constriction and psychological formation. Dante was confused and silent at this explanation of the thoughts which had unconsciously been working in his mind, or rather soul. For there are two distinct sorts of ideas, those that proceed from the head and those that emanate from the heart. Wow, okay, is that our first explicit philosophical and ethical question Dumas has put to us as readers? I mean, he's been subtly weaving in these questions, I think, underneath the story so far. But this passage, having the Faria and Dante have different perspectives over something like the taking of life and what one would do for one's own liberty, is directly asking questions of the audience to ponder. What are we to take of Dante's mindset here? Now, we do have to keep in mind, as we've discussed 100 times already, that Dante is undeveloped, let's call him. He was 19 going into prison. He's 25-ish now. His life up until then had been simple, uneducated, and living a life at sea, which has different... A life at sea during wartime, which I'm assuming has different implications to these things than the Faria's experience in life, which predates the war. He was an adult before the war, and from different countries, different political atmospheres, different walks of society, exposed to different philosophical ideas. So what's he saying here? What's Dumas putting in front of us? Dante is suggesting, as we read in the last episode, that they might have to kill a jailer or kill someone on their way out to successfully escape. And the Faria is saying, no, I can't do that. My conscience, my morals will not allow me to take the life of another. And Dante is a little surprised by this, going, but you wouldn't do that even if it meant your liberty? And Faria says no, and he starts to give this philosophical example of, why didn't you think to just attack your jailer, put on his clothes like it's some sort of Bugs Bunny cartoon, and escape out of here? And Dante says that it's because it hadn't occurred to him, but Faria takes it one step further into the philosophical by saying, well, it didn't occur to you because it's against human nature to want blood, to kill another. So this brings up such an interesting question as readers and absorbing the story. Questions that we won't get the answers to. What if the Faria and Dante never met here? Would that idea have ever occurred to Dante? Would he have gone through with that level of violence with some sort of crazy plan like that, given enough time? Or would it always never had occurred to him because it's so repugnant an idea that he would never even humor it? What's interesting about this passage in terms of engaging readers like us is I think it subconsciously asks us the question, what would you do for your liberty? What would you do in these circumstances? How far would you be willing to go? And that's how you get invested in a story. It starts making you place yourself in the circumstances that the characters are in. So, what would you do? I don't know that I have the answer to that. How do you know until you're in those circumstances? Everybody says it. There was that oft quoted Mike Tyson quote, everybody has a plan until you get punched. I know I've heard that quoted so many times by so many different historians and commentators in different circumstances to apply to different things, but I think it does apply here. You don't know what you would be willing to do until you're in a situation. Likewise, you can boast and bluster all you want about what you would do in a situation, but until you're in it, you're just not going to know. Okay, so we've had a little book chat this chapter so far, personal book chats, and I just want to highlight, once again, that there is some discussion starting up on the Discord about this book, about reading The Count of Monte Cristo, your past experiences, all that stuff. It's all spoiler-free, at least so far. So please join us over there. We would love to continue this conversation offline, and you can let me know more about what you want out of the podcast. It's a great way to have a back and forth. So you can get that information in today's show notes, also on our website. If you just search Countdown to Monte Cristo, it should come up. Please join the Discord. It is completely free. You know, I might beg and plead a little bit more there for Patreon stuff, but I'm not going to do that right now. We're heading into the end of the chapter anyway, so I will hit you with that in a couple days, but just want to push Discord. Completely free to anyone to join. It's for the entire podcast network. You can discover some other cool shows over there too, meet some new people, have some cool book chats. With that, I'm going to end today's episode, and I will see you all here tomorrow for more of Chapter 16 of The Count of Monte Cristo. Until then, okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.